Welcome to the Power Monkey Podcast, where we chat with the best in the world about what they do. I'm your host, Dave Durante, with my co-host, Chad Vaughn. And on today's episode, we have a special recording where we speak to and about the amazing man himself, Chad Vaughn, for some recent news that made the headlines about Chad and some others being inducted into the 2022 USAW Hall of Fame. Really excited about this for Chad. He's an incredible athlete and coach with incredible number of accomplishments under his belt. And we want to talk a little bit about that journey to getting to the point of being inducted. We have some special guests. We have some people who have been along for the ride, who have been part of the Power Monkey family, as well as very close to Chad as competitors and in some other areas. They give a little bit of insight into what it's like to be part of Chad's journey. We hope you enjoy this one. The induction is going to be this upcoming summer in June in Las Vegas during USAW Nationals Week. Hope you guys can be there in person. If you can't, please give a big shout out to Chad for his amazing accomplishment, and we hope you enjoy this episode. All right, we have a very, very special episode today. Just me and my co-host, Chad Vaughn, but the spotlight will be on Mr. Vaughn himself after some recent news came out from the weightlifting world that Chad, along with two others, are going to be inducted into the 2022 USA Weightlifting Hall of Fame. Woo-hoo! Chad, congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah, you got me all nervous here. I feel like a guest on a very unfamiliar podcast or something. So I'm not sure how this is going to go.
Well, we're all very proud of you, man. We definitely have a lot of questions for you, kind of see what it took to get to the point of you being one of America's finest, and being inducted to the Hall of Fame is kind of a big deal. And I want to give a little bit of background on kind of how you got there. But let's give everyone just a really quick background on some of your accolades so that they have a better understanding of what it took to get to Hall of Fame status. Can you go over some of your accolades? I think some of our listeners probably already know, but let's rattle them off little by little.
Yeah, sure. 9-time national champion. So that happened over the course of, maybe 12 years or something like that. There was a 2 or 3 year period where, I didn't go to nationals for international competition purposes. I think one year I had a little tweak that I was nursing a little bit. So I set out, but, and I say that just because our, Cheryl Hayworth, that we love so much, always kind of digs at me for her having 11 and me only having 9. So I'm trying to come up with the best excuse as to why I don't have 12 over her. But I will say, if I would have went to all of the nationals that I could have competed at back then, I'm confident that it would have been 12. So
of course.
Of course. But so 9-time national champion, was on many world teams, many Pan American championship teams. I think 3 Pan American Games teams. 2003, I won the Pan American Games gold medal. And 2007, I think I got the bronze medal at the Pan American Games. So pretty successful, over on this side of the water, so to speak, in Pan Am competition territory. A little less successful overseas, but competing against the rest of the world. But certainly many international competitions there, and a lot of good competitions, a lot of accomplishments as well. Some records along the way. I broke the clean and jerk American record back in 2007. That was 190 kilograms in the 77 kilogram weight class. So for those that still don't speak kilos, that's 418 pounds. Oof. And a body weight of 169. Wow. Was chasing the snatch record for all those years as well. I fell about 7.5 kilos short of that. Was never able to track Oscar Chaplin down, who still holds that record, I believe, and tried to break the total record. Also, probably one competition that I was strong enough to do it, just didn't quite pull it out. But I've continued competing, as many know, on the master stage, and won. I think I've competed at Masters Nationals 3 times since becoming a master, and won the national championship there. Have all of the national records. 2019 went to the World Weightlifting or the Masters World Championships for the first time, and won that one and broke 2 world records there. So that was a big goal for me, coming into, really started thinking about Masters from a pretty young age. I remember Jody and I talking about it like when we were 25 and just saying, yeah, we're still doing this thing on at a high level, but we're looking forward to masters. And in our minds, we're training for masters that whole time. So, to be able to get to that point and, say that I'm a world champion, even though it's on the masters level, is something that I'm proud of and that I'm thankful to continue to have the opportunity for. And then of course the world records as well. So
That's incredible, dude. The list could be a whole podcast all in and of itself. I don't think you mentioned, I think most people are aware, but, two-time Olympian in there too,
yep.
04, 08, along with the World Championships, the Pan American Games, and the rest of the titles. You did mention someone in there that had a role or kind of the athlete that you were kind of chasing as you were going head-to-head all those years. Cheryl Hayworth, a big part of the Olympic weightlifting community as well. And we actually are going to invite her in as a special guest. And
oh my.
She is going to jump in now. We have Cheryl here as a special guest who you're not aware of. Hello, Cheryl.
Welcome. Hi, Dave. Thank you.
Cheryl.
It's good to be here. Air quotes for special guest, because you know what Chad's thinking right now? I got to talk to her for like another hour as soon as I get, because we got another podcast. I know the torture we put you through, Chad.
Well, because both of you are on the USAW weightlifting podcast, and you guys, how often are you hosting that one?
Well, we're supposed to do it once a week, but it sometimes turns into once every other week. So we're not really.
Sometimes we get 2 done in a week, though, Chad.
Rarely.
Rarely. It does happen, though. You see me always being optimistic.
Well, Cheryl, thank you for taking the time. For the listeners out there, of course, the CrossFitters out there in the weightlifting community know of your incredible accolades. 3-time Olympian, Olympic bronze medalist, one of the most well-known Olympic weightlifters to ever come out of the country. And of course, one of our esteemed Power Monkey coaches as well. You're a badass. We love having you on, and we just want to take some time to have you shine a spotlight on your experiences with Chad and some things that really stand out as to why Chad is such an amazing guy.
I guess I should have made it clear when you asked in the beginning, Dave, if there are any topics to stay away from. I should have said, we shall not have Cheryl Hayworth on here. I actually kind of had the feeling this morning when I was going back and forth with Cheryl and we were deciding on what time we were going to record. She was maybe a little strange with her answers through the last couple of days. And she even congratulated me on the Hall of Fame. So I was like, wait a minute. Somebody must have said something to
I was
her.
afraid that was going to be a giveaway. I was like, because I had this Hall of Fame stuff going on in my head. And I was like, I don't know if I've congratulated Chad. Then I was like, maybe he'll think that's weird if I congratulate him. But I did want to bring to attention one of the reasons why it is happening now and wasn't a couple of years ago. I remember having a chat, and this was like, the early days of Chad and I's new relationship, like when I came back from Hong Kong and began coaching and whatnot. You were wondering because they had asked you to be inducted into the Hall of Fame because you had just finally, the amount of time had elapsed. I think it's like 5 years or something after one retires, right? And you were like, Cheryl, I don't know, but I kind of want to enter the national championship, and I kind of want to try and win.
But then of course, 11 still.
He misses his last jerk, and it doesn't work out. So he's got to wait another couple years.
We watched that live at Friday night of Power Monkey Camp, and we had all the campers watching that on the big screen. So we had front row seat to watch that happen. I thought
it was absolutely incredible.
That was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I wanted to make fun of him for not only missing that last jerk,
of course,
but really just bring to attention what an incredible feat that is. How old are you now, Chad? 40? You just turned 40, right?
I'm 41. Yeah, turned 41 in May this year. So I was 39 then.
39 then. Still one of the top competitors in one of the most competitive weight classes in the nation. So here he is in the thick of it. What were you, 77? Did you weigh in 77?
73.
73. Okay. Yeah. so many people in the 70s and the 80s, male competitors. And like when we were competing, when I was competitive, it was like 5 super heavyweights, right? If I went to compete at a national level as a 38-year-old, I'd just get my ass kicked. So I really wanted to sort of emphasize that should have happened a while ago. I gave Chad, part of my advice was to go for it. And you just barely, I remember I jumped up out of my seat. My headphones got snatched off my head. But yeah, then you let that pelvis shift back and you put too much weight on that front foot. And that jerk just
Wait a minute. Technique is off the topic list as well. We're not talking about technique.
Oh, is it?
but yeah, no, that,
Chad, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I certainly did reach out to you as a Hall of Fame member as well. And they did contact me. And shortly after they contacted me, I, had this urge to jump back into a national competition because one, I just wanted to do it anyway. I was in good shape. I was training for Masters Nationals and I knew I was going to Masters Worlds later that year. So I wanted to go ahead and jump in and just get some practice in. And honestly, knowing that CJ wasn't going to be competing there was more motivation because CJ would have just completely smashed me. So I knew I had a chance to potentially win and get what I've been chasing for all these years, 10 national championships. I know I'll never be as good as Cheryl and get 11 or more, 12, but
well, it could never be consecutive either. Don't forget that part.
That's true. You did have 11 consecutive, but I thought I could maybe get 10, and the whole process was just a whole lot of fun, right there in the middle of training for Masters Worlds. And that last week being Power Monkey Camp, was a little bit of a concern too, because we're working our asses off at Power Monkey Camp all week.
Yeah.
So, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't know if you should do this or not. I mean, how well are you going to feel and be able to do? But, it was an opportunity for me to put into play the mindset that I've grown into through the years, and being able to basically just ignore that, eat what I was supposed to eat, train how I was supposed to train. And then luckily were we in Nashville?
Memphis or something? I think it was.
I don't think it was Nashville. I think it might have been Memphis.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And so not too long of a drive from where we were at there in Tennessee at Power Monkey Camp. And so you and I made our way there, Cheryl, I think on that Thursday night, and I competed that Friday. But, I made that decision. And once I made that decision, I had just found out that I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame there at Nationals in 2019. And so I contacted the office and they said, well, if Nationals were in June or I think maybe even later in the month, then you could compete and still be inducted into the Hall of Fame. But because it wasn't a complete 5 years since you competed at Nationals, the last time I competed at Nationals was either late May or June of 2014. So they said you have to make a decision as to if you're going to go ahead and take the Hall of Fame or compete at Nationals this year. And ultimately I decided to go for it because I know that I would have completely regretted it. So I was actually surprised when they contacted me not long ago and said that I was going to be inducted, or that I am in the Hall of Fame, would be inducted in.
Oh, me too, because you only went to 2 Olympics after all.
Well, but yeah, of course.
I'm joking.
Now we'll be inducted in 2022. So I'm not sure what changed with the whole 5-year thing, but I was ready to wait it out if I didn't decide to compete at Nationals again.
Well,
yeah, that's
I'm curious from your perspective, Cher, because I know we don't have on for too long. But you both shared 2 Olympic Games together. Cheryl, you had a third in 2000. You shared 04 and 08. And, speaking with Chad, and he shared his experience from 04 and 08 as well, in terms of him not hitting the numbers and doing what he thought he was capable of doing. And I think similar experiences for you in 04 and 08. But I'm curious from both of your perspectives, if you had any time together if there's anything that sticks out about either 04 or 08 in terms of both of your guys or the team being out there in Athens or in Beijing, that you really remember, that you gravitate towards, or it's something that you come back to and say, that was something that really, I'm glad we had that moment together, even at, a competition that didn't go the way that we initially anticipated.
No, that's a really excellent question, Dave. And absolutely, yes. I don't have the best memory in the world, and that besides, I mean, thinking about what we're all doing at the Olympic Games and how far, our heads are up our own butts, just in a natural way, in a way that has to, allow for you to compete at a high level and sort of ignore a lot of distractions. But part of the real true value for me of those experiences is the people I got to share it with, right? And Chad is there settled in some really, really great memories that I have. And one, I don't remember a lot of details, but I remember we had the best time, Chad, after we competed in 2004, and we had a beautiful view of the Acropolis, and it's where we took a team picture. I think at the end, Oscar was there, you were there, I was there. I don't think the whole team was there. Shane may have been there, but I just remember it's such a beautiful picture and such a beautiful place. I remember we ate really, really good food, and we didn't do anything. We just hung out with one another. After 2008, you and I both had some very, very disappointing performances personally, and one of my best memories of that is getting a bottle of whiskey, ordering a bunch of pizza, and it was like me, you, Kendrick, Carissa, and we went to my parents' apartment. They had rented a flat in Beijing, and we hung out. We just bullshitted, and we just had the best time for just a little bit. We could forget about, we were just in Beijing, kicking it with some good buddies, and a shared experience and kind of a toast that we were finished, and we did a thing that was really, really hard together.
Yep. Yeah, I absolutely remembered that time in Beijing, and just walking down the streets together as a team, and looking forward to that whiskey as you mentioned. And in 2004, what sticks out to me, what I remember most is just, you and I being there, of course, in the same room, but with the rest of the team from 2004. And we tell this story all the time, but playing poker for who was going to go get the McDonald's cheeseburgers from the cafeteria. And
still the most stressful card game I've ever played.
Oh, definitely the most stressful.
Who had to go make that trip?
Oscar Chaplin III.
Yeah.
I emptied out. I took my camera bag. I had, and this back in the day, like, I mean, I guess I didn't have my cell phone, or they were less capable, but I had an actual camera with film, and I took it out of the bag, and he just loaded it up with double quarter pounders, and it was amazing.
Isn't it amazing that McDonald's in the Olympic Village is as used as it is with the athletes that are there?
It is.
I'm amazed that they don't run out of product by the time
incredible.
The competition's over. Well, Cheryl, thank you for the time. I know we only have a few short minutes, and I wish we had more time together, but we appreciate the insight and you being willing to jump on and give some love to Chad.
Of course. And, to those out there who maybe don't know Chad and I's relationship, I love him very much. He's a mentor of mine and just one of the most incredible guys I know. And, but hopefully this won't be the last of the possible roasting. I don't know.
No, let's just hang on for a minute there, Cheryl. Let's see if we have any other guests jumping on here.
So no.
Yeah, we might.
Hello, Jody.
What are you doing?
Also known as Chad Vaughn's wife.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say hello, Jody, because I don't want to interfere with what's this little setup we got. It's like the what is it, the Brady Bunch? Yes. But I'm gonna step out of it. But I can't wait to listen to this podcast, specifically to listen to what Jody has to say. Actually, real quick, Jody was like my original friend in weightlifting. I kind of started hanging out with Chad because Jody's so cool. Basically.
Oh yeah.
And that's why any of us hang out with Chad.
It's true.
Of course. Yeah, everybody just tolerates me for Jody. That's it.
Love you all so much. Have a good time.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
Bye.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
hello.
Lord.
Jody, what is up? How are you?
Not much. I'm pretty good.
Are you in the other room? We've had to keep the secret from Chad for a while now, and I'm glad we were able to surprise him with the special guest here.
right? I kept my mouth shut through lunch. It's like, so what do you have for the rest of the day? Oh, a nap.
Yeah.
Well, again, this is the first time we actually have you on the podcast. So, aside from just being Chad Vaughn's wife, which was your Instagram handle for a number of years, you are also an incredible weightlifter in your own right. Can you give a little bit of background on all of your incredible accomplishments as well before we start speaking of your husband?
Oh, good Lord. Well, I trained and competed under Coffee's Gym. Coffee's Gym is, we have 19 national team titles as a group, as a team. Ursula Garza Papandrea is my coach and has been since 1998. I made a junior world team, university world team, senior world team, Pan Am Games team.
Titan Games?
Huh?
Titan Games?
And oh yes, the Titan Games.
What is the
unspeakable Titan Games? Because
I can't believe I brought that up.
I know he didn't get to make the Titan Games team in 2003, I believe, and so you know how they hand us out bags and things of that nature when you make a team.
Yeah,
they gave us a Titan Titan Games bag, and it wasn't allowed in our apartment because he didn't get to get.
What is the Titan Games? I've never heard of that.
It was a cool competition that they put on that weightlifting was a part of, judo, fencing, boxing. So all the sports that kind of didn't never get any attention. They did like a little promo for all of us. And I was chosen for the 2003 team and he was not.
All right.
But he made the Olympic team, so that's.
Well, you still have the Titan Games, so.
That's right. Well, that's one reason why I went ahead and made the Olympic team. I was so devastated and motivated by not making the Titan Games.
So, Cheryl, it seemed like she was going to come to leave, but she definitely wants to stay on the podcast. So we're letting her back in so that she can impart some more wisdom.
Well, there she is.
She's not leaving. She's staying on the podcast.
Sorry,
so
she's got some shit to talk. That's why. She
wanted to make sure.
I just got a text from Ursula.
That's really long.
It really, really is. So I'm gonna let you guys keep talking. I'm gonna see what gym she sent over.
Oh, Lord, come on now.
No. Well, back to Jody. Jody, I know that you've been not only on the competitive side, but basically assisting with Chad's journey into the Masters division, helping us out with Power Monkey Camp. You've been behind the scenes during so much of his competitive journey once you retired. Do you ever help Chad from a coaching perspective, or do you let him do his own thing? Are you completely separate, or do you feel like you have some things to impart that would be able to help him out with what he's trying to do from the competitive side?
As far as movement and all that fun stuff goes, I kind of leave that to him. My main part I play in helping Chad is making weight. I did weight I was a 48 kilo class, so I made weight my entire career, so I've gotten pretty good at it. This guy likes to back himself in a corner, pretty good when it comes to making weight. And I don't know if you've ever heard boiling. So I help him through that phase.
What is that?
It's a way to sweat and lose weight that way without getting in a sauna. It's a little bit more, you have a little bit more control over how things go and such. But you basically fill your tub up in the hotel room to as hot of water as you can stand to lay in or sit in, so that you can get your body heat up and all that fun stuff, start sweating. And then we wrap up like a burrito after that. And the sheets in the hotel, I'm sure the cleaning people love us when we get done with this process. It usually takes a couple of hours to get through. And Chad usually, pushes the limits with it around to.
You wrap them up in like a burrito with the sheets from the room?
Yeah, I'll show pictures or some sort at some point. But you have to wrap them up as tight as possible so that only the body heat and keep sweating, right?
Oh my goodness.
So I'm sweating right now.
With that process. I don't know if it's because he doesn't want anybody to see him.
Can you send that picture over? That'll be the the main screenshot that we use for this podcast.
Okay.
Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Right. But he usually sweats off a couple of kilos, 2 to 3 kilos, somewhere there.
How much does he complain about it, Jody?
I have to lie to him about how long he's been in the club or in the rap. So he's not a huge fan, but he gets it done. He likes to listen to Friends on his Netflix ways.
Mhm.
Listen to Friends. So not only are you a wait. I want to get this right. Everyone knows, we've mentioned this a few times on the podcast, that Chad is the world's greatest Friends fan. Watching the episodes, but you just listen to the episodes?
Maybe it's just the
Just the
theme song
audio?
over and over again. So no one told you life was gonna
I don't know
be
that.
this way.
Hey, that's pretty
That's it,
good. As
right?
much as
Is
I
that
love
the
Friends,
one?
that song is very annoying at this point, so I try to skip that. But yeah, I listen to it, and because something else that we've talked about is what I do is I try to stay away from anything inspirational that's going to take that type of energy away from me. So I used to listen to music. I have to stay away from music because I can easily get inspired by certain songs that might come on. But Friends is just something that I've heard so many times. It's relaxing to me. It helps me pass the time, even just listening to it, kind of get into the story and what I know is coming up and everything else. And it really takes my mind away from, what I'm doing, sweating, and then what is about to happen in the competition. But I wanted to give you guys a sample of what my sweating voice sounds like, and Jody will agree with this 100%. You ready?
I would say for anybody that hasn't ever had to cut weight like this or even heard of it, the equivalent of it is Murph, but like when you're headed out for that last mile and you've taken like 10 steps out of the gym and you have no sense of time or hope for your life.
I would still rather do that than Murph.
It's miserable. You feel like you're working out without working out. So, I mean, I kind of, allowed it to happen and just so, but he did for someone, he's very successful in weightlifting, as we all know. He had to stick himself in a corner some way, and I feel like this is how he did it. There was a couple of times that he was on. I say we were on weight when we were at the hotel. When he got to the venue, got on the scale, he was over for whatever reason. So
were you sneaking cheeseburgers on the way? What's going on?
They think her and Ursula swear that I
one
was.
time he ate a piece of ice on the way to weigh-ins.
You know what? That's interesting because part of Ursula, and this is Ursula Papandrea, by the way, and she's senior international coach for the United States, former IWF president, and like just one of the true pioneers of American weightlifting, right? So that's who we're talking about. Yeah, it's such a badass. She texted me just now, and she's like, "I'm going to sleep because I just got back from Athens, Greece, like yesterday. But who the hell keeps eating ice after they've already weighed in and before they compete?"
Did she just say this?
Yeah. She was like, I think we got some advice from a friend of ours, Robert Murphy, or something like that. And it was just this text about who keeps eating the ice. Like, Chad, you've already made weight. What are you doing? Right. The little ice nipple sound like the saddest thing in the whole world.
Ursula drove down a one-way street the wrong way one time to get him to weigh-ins. After he missed weight, we went back to the hotel to get him back in the tub, sweating again, put him back in the car, and she drove the wrong way down a one-way street to get him to weigh-ins on time.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, she's the kind of coach that you want. We're no man left behind. We're getting there. She's gonna make it happen.
Yeah. She also saved my life from a angry Russian coach one time.
She did.
Oh goodness.
Really?
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Can you explain, please?
I'd hear that story.
Well, we got on the bus and there was an empty seat and I sat down, and apparently one of the Russian athletes and his coach were in that at some point before I was. And so that he started yelling at me in Russian. And I was like, basically, okay, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what you're saying. But luckily, Ursula speaks Russian. So she came over there and
He knows all the words in Russian, all of them.
All of them, not just the cuss
If you're
words.
angry and you want to talk to somebody in Russian, you need Ursula with you.
Yeah. So anyway, she jumped in and started yelling at him in Russian, and it got it all figured out. And I was able to, I guess I didn't sit in the same seat, but I was able to find a seat, and we made it back to the hotel safely.
Was it a perfectly polite conversation, Chad, and it just sounded really mad because it was Russian? Do you know what I mean?
They
could have just been having like a lovely chat, like, good. Oh, how are your kids? Good to see you.
I would say
my coach, my lifter's coming back. He's gonna say, oh, no problem. That's really
not at all.
I would say that's
I know a few words in Russian, and that's not what she said.
no spasibas, no spasibas.
Plus, Ursula doesn't have any relaxed conversation, so
it's true.
She doesn't have a relaxed conversation.
Ursula's sounding more and more like someone that we need to have at the Power Monkey camp. She says she would fit really well.
1,000% for a lot of reasons.
Jody, one more thing before we get you out of here. I don't want to take up your whole day, but you have an amazing daughter with Chad, who's now jumping into the weightlifting world. Ella's kicking ass. Do you see any of Chad's traits in Ella? Anything that you think might either lead her to a path to be an incredible athlete in the same way as Chad, or anything that you say, Chad, you passed that along, and I can't believe you did, and it's annoying the hell out of me that our daughter's like that?
One thing we make sure to do with Ella is that she knows she has her own path to make, whether that be in weightlifting or skateboarding or, playing the guitar, whatever she chooses.
Or gymnastics. Yeah, right. She does gymnastics.
Or gymnastics. Okay. But she's into basketball right now. We'll see. I think something that she got from him is just finding a passion and just trying your best to stick with that, and putting forth all the effort and holding herself accountable. For a 12-year-old, she does a really good job of that. Something that I wish she wouldn't have passed on down to her is her ability to fart all the time without any excuses.
on command. That's pretty impressive.
No need to hold that in or
not
be embarrassed
polite.
Right.
Very good dad right there. Teaching their own tricks.
I'm just suddenly realizing how many bullets I must have dodged hanging out with Chad. Now I'm gonna be all nervous around when he turns his back to me. I'm gonna be like, whoa, what are you doing?
You've dodged him for sure.
No,
and Ella's even worse. So
yeah, she's an incredible athlete. And I'll tell you something. The Hall of Fame induction is going to happen in Vegas on National Week, and USA Lifting does National Week now. So they do youths, juniors, university, or no, not universities, 25 and under, and senior nationals all in 1 week now. It's going to be at the same competition as youth nationals is going to be at. And I asked her, she hasn't gone. She's qualified 3 times for youth nationals. This will be her 3rd time, but she hasn't gone because she's been afraid to fly. And just hasn't quite been ready to get on the stage. So I was like, okay, since we went to Power Monkey camp this last time, she flew, and she's like, I'm down for flying now, let's do it. So I was like, all right, so do you want to go to youth nationals this year? And she said, well, Mom, I want that to be all about Dad.
Oh,
he knows he's going to be going
so
to the Hall of
sweet
Fame there. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool for you to have your first national event at the same place Dad's doing the Hall of Fame? And so I think she may go ahead and jump in and do her first youth national event at the same competition that Chad's going to be putting.
I love it.
Yeah. So
I love it. Well, we think the world of Ella, and we were lucky enough to have her back out of camp this past camp a few weeks ago because Coconut and Vanessa's wedding that we had, and you guys came out, and our theme of the party on Friday night was the Olympics, and I dressed like my idol. I dressed like Chad Vaughn, and so did Ella. Ella dressed as her dad. She wanted to be just like her dad. So we're actually 3 Chad Vaughns at the party on Friday night.
It was way too much for me to handle.
Well, To be fair, I was David Saldana actually.
Yeah, you were.
So,
You're absolutely you were.
Yeah.
You've been doing a great job of that, manning up the bar area. But we do have another guest about to jump on. Jody and Cheryl, you guys are both welcome to stay if you would like. We'll turn into true Brady Bunch here.
Let me say something about Jody real quick. One, I'm very proud of her for a few reasons. One, you actually got her on a podcast. I never thought I would see the day. So now, Cheryl, we may have to actually get her on our podcast.
But they told me I could roast you. That's how they got me on.
Oh, okay. Well,
I know.
about,
I was like, do you want to make fun of Chad a little bit?
16 years for this.
how about we let you roast myself and Cheryl on the USA Weightlifting
you can
podcast
totally
just to
roast
get you
me.
on?
I would love every second.
You have too many
Aw.
great things that you can share with the weightlifting community. So I'm excited that she actually came on a podcast, and we're going to make her do it on USAW as well. But also I'm extremely proud of her accomplishments as an athlete. And I feel bad sometimes that she doesn't get the credit that she deserves as an athlete and as a coach. And that's a little bit of a bummer. And I am incredibly thankful that she tolerates that, the situation that it is. But I just wanted to say that she deserves so much more credit than she gets, for being an athlete and a coach now for many, many years in the community. So thank you, Jody, for all that you have done and all the support that you've given me through the years.
You're welcome. And now I feel like crap.
Thank you, Jody.
You're amazing, Jody.
You're awesome.
You're amazing. Thanks so much for hanging out. Stay on if you are able to. Let's see who we got next jumping in here. And drum roll, it is Mr. Michael Service himself.
It's late for that guy, isn't it?
I know. See that? What he does to be able to come on and pay his respects to his older brother, the person that he has looked up to in the sport. Mike, welcome. Calling in from Crete, Greece right now. How you doing, buddy?
I feel like this is quite the regression in guests, so I apologize, Chad. The list was quite long, and somehow I made it on the tail end of it.
Well, Mike, it's awesome to have you on here and share a few words of wisdom when it comes to your experiences with Chad. For years, the both of you were in the same weight group. You guys were both 77. You always talk about how you were always second fiddle to Chad in so many competitions over the years. And it's gone from a competitive relationship to a pretty deep friendship. And I would like to just kind of talk a little bit about what it was like competing with Chad all those years and sharing some of those experiences.
Yeah, it was, for me, it was more like competing and then watching Chad do whatever he needed to do to make all of his world team and Olympic teams. So competition is always a funny word to use with that. But I'm sure I've told him in less kind ways, but it's a really cool feeling to have like a picture of somebody that you idolize and they autograph it for you, and then end up getting to compete at the same competitions against them, and throughout that process also become friends, and then end up getting to move into more of like a professional career together. And I know I've definitely told you this before, Chad, but you're probably my longest standing friend now. Like, I think Chad's been my friend at least for the last 19 to 20 years, which is pretty cool to think about. And we have our one common mentor in Lou DeMarco, Uncle Lou, and I would always laugh so much when he would talk about all of his his friends that we were lifting together in the 60s and 70s, and we're like brothers, we're cousins, 50 years, and that's slowly becoming more of a reality for me, is to imagine having Chad as a friend for multiple decades now, which is really cool.
Well, I picked up on something there early. I'll let you get in there, Chad, but you mentioned Chad signing an autograph for you. I think that was definitely a jab at Chad for how old he is versus you. Like,
of course,
were you like 8 years old when Chad was already winning national championships?
Truthfully, he signed a picture of him clean and jerking the American record at the Arnold Championships. I was like the big super fan, so I was there to see it. And then I went and got the picture printed off and then took it for him, and he signed it. And I know I have it, somewhere, not here with me. I wish I did, because then I would hold it up and like show it. But yeah, I mean, Chad is like the Iron Man of Olympic weightlifting. I know he still probably wants to get a couple more senior national championships just to have some type of other all-time record. But he was winning national championships when I was still a teenager, and then he was winning them when I was in my late 20s.
When you were already getting ready to be retired, huh?
Actually, he won. I think Chad won his last national championship when I had definitely been retired. So he he started before me and finished after me.
There you go. There you go. Well, I have to say, I guarantee that Mike has that picture, one, hanging up in his bathroom right there with him. And two, Mike, I'm going to need that picture and autograph back.
I'll give it to you for Christmas. Yeah, it's up on the motivation board.
So you throw darts out. That's what you told me out off.
Oh yeah,
throw darts at it.
Yeah, that might be the only problem in getting it back. There probably is some dart holes or bullet holes in there. But yeah, Mike brought up. Yeah, go ahead.
I tried to use it as a voodoo doll, but it never worked because he just kept on training and beating everybody. So
see, the truth comes out. The truth comes out.
Yeah.
Mike brought up Lou DeMarco, and Lou was Mike's coach since the beginning, and kind of a father figure for him, and someone that I met along the way. And I want to give him some credit as well. He was a big part of my journey and success for many, many years. He coached me he helped coach me at any national competition that he was at. And it was a pleasure to work with him, and certainly someone that offered great insight and motivation to go out there and continue doing what I was doing. I think he was on a couple international teams as well. And really the only reason that I still tolerate Mike is because of Lou.
Well, yeah, that relationship has been an interesting one. You guys have like a very much a big brother, little brother relationship where, Mike, you get picked on a little bit, and it's just because Chad loves you so much. And I'm curious how the relationship has been now that you guys have both been coaching together for so long. You've been on Power Monkey staff for close to 10 years. You've done seminars together, these types of things. How's the relationship grown? Where do you feel like you're at right now? Do you feel like you're still the little brother in the relationship?
Oh, absolutely. I think I probably fall somewhere along like Chad's, well, maybe he doesn't want to claim me for that, but down his coaching tree. Because I feel like I was very influenced by his development, his later years as an athlete, because I was always asking him a million questions about training and his technique and his training philosophies and programming. And so there was a lot of influence to developing my, I guess, perspective on things. And then as we've developed, I would say, together within the Power Monkey family, it's hard not to still view him very much as a mentor, and there's probably still a little competitive side too, where I want to see if I can pick something up when somebody's moving that maybe he didn't see, and I don't know, that goes even deeper into probably I'm just looking for some affirmation, like the big brother thing. I'm like, oh, I want to see if Chad agrees with what I said. It's like that little pat on the back that you're looking for. So it's developed, but it's also stayed the same. It's still like an ultimate, a little bit of, I don't know. It's cool to feel as though somebody is your peer, but also to revere them as as an athlete and as a professional. It's an interesting dynamic to have. Whenever Dave gets inducted into one of his Hall of Fames, then maybe I'll have similar thoughts for him too. So I'm very privileged. Is basically what I'm getting at.
Yeah, for sure. It's easy to jump back into that role of the mentor that I know I was for young Mike there, as an athlete, and then coming into being a coach. But we really started coaching at relatively the same time, and even though maybe I was a mentor, and that's kind of the natural feeling that I get still when I'm around Mike. I mean, it has been us developing together, growing together, and having a lot of conversations where I can see that he is very wise and an incredible coach as well. And I've certainly learned a lot from him on the coaching side too, and also just understanding our own differences as athletes and coaches kind of helps understand weightlifting even on a different level. So certainly something that like you said, Mike, being together, working together with through Power Monkey, you know, I mean, at this point we're basically equals in that regard, you know. So it's I appreciate everything you've done for Power Monkey, and you know, the time that we have had together and learned together. So
I think I was trying to really listen to everything you were saying, but then I thought we're kind of patting each other on the back way too much, and maybe people want something funny as well.
Story, Mike.
What's that? Yeah, I was just getting reminded. So if people don't know, part of me like idolizing Chad was essentially stalking him through his wife Jody, because he wouldn't talk to me when he was like warming up at competitions, and I would be sitting there like attempting to talk to him through my coach Lou, and Jody would be kind enough to like listen to probably whatever nonsense I was saying, and somehow that got it to where I flew myself to stay with them in Texas. I think I was like 18 or 19 maybe when I did that. Chad was gracious enough to let me stay there and train with him. But I think it was all trying to sabotage me, because he had these different positions he wanted to show me, and how to start and how to do everything. And then, you know, crazy enough, like the first time I tried to lift with his technique, I threw my back out. And then I couldn't train for a long time, and I was always very skeptical to take advice from him after that, and until wisdom came back around. But I can remember some funny stuff like that, and to his trustingness, even with that in the back of his mind, probably he actually let me program for him for a little while his squat cycle as as an experiment, which was very fun, I think, actually, for both of us. But that was probably one of the biggest honor moments for me. I was like, I get to program squats for, you know, Mr. Squat.
That is
well, at that time I wasn't you know, Mr. Squat. And you know what I do so much now in the coaching world is talk about the squat and try to perfect people's squat. I was just desperate and trying to figure out how I can get my legs stronger, my squat stronger, because Mike always had a significantly stronger squat than me. But I will say, to his injury, you know, that happens sometimes when you're actually lifting from a proper position, whereas you weren't before. You just got to get used to it. So that's what
he kept telling me. He's like, no, that's the pain. You got to work. It's necessary. You need that. Funnily enough, I find myself saying the same thing to people now, so they'll get a.
It was a teaching moment. See that?
It was very much a teaching moment that
painful teaching moment.
Often.
Well, thank you, Mike. We appreciate it, Chad. Before we finish up here and we wrap up, I want everyone else to be able to have another word. But I'm curious at this point. You know, you're 41 years old, coming on 42, not that long, coming up in May. Do you still have certain goals that you're trying to achieve in the weightlifting community? You talked about you still want to be a competitor. I don't know about on the senior level anymore, if it's just masters related, but anything you still have on the agenda moving forward?
I think there's some urges kind of slowly sneaking back in. Right after the World Championships in 2019, I absolutely had more goals because, you know, the next year I was going to be turning 40. And, you know, I wanted to win more national championships, try to break more national records, world championships and world records. And there was great intention there. But at the same time, that fell off pretty quickly because in 2019, I competed 4 times in the matter of about 6 months. And that on a 39-year-old was a little harder than I thought it was going to be, especially because I was cutting down to a weight class. And it wasn't like it was extremely hard for me to do, but I was cutting down to a weight class, a body weight that was not something I was used to, 73 kilos versus 77, 9 pounds, just about a 9-pound difference there. And so sweating off down to that lighter body weight that many times in a row, by the time I made it to the World Championships, I got to say that competition is one that I'm most proud of, not because I won the world championships or because I broke world records there, but because I basically had to pull out every bit of experience and knowledge that I have in, sweating off weight, cutting weight, getting to the point of weighing in, making weight, rehydrating myself. And by the time I got to the clean and jerks at that competition, I was just cramping up, like just randomly. I would do a warm up, and it would settle in, and I would start to cramp up. So I was a little worried that in the middle of any of my heavy clean and jerks attempt, I was just going to become a ball of cramp and fall on the platform and not survive. But so I'm proud because it took every bit of the experience that I went through, the culmination of things that came together that allowed me to finish out that competition. Still actually my last competition, but the urge fell off because I basically just overdid it in 2019. And I guess through all the breakthrough COVID and everything else, and now a little over 2 years later, I'm a little bit ready to maybe get back into it. There's some more records that I'd like to break on the national and the world stage, and I'm not going to say that it's outside of the realm of possibility for me to jump back into a regular national competition either, especially if I could get Jody and or Cheryl to do it with me.
Cheryl,
Ooh. Have you thought about that at all, Cheryl or Jody?
yeah,
I certainly have. For me, like it would take, I don't know how long it would take you, Jody, but it would take me a solid couple years of training before I think, because even when I was in shape, like I go through about 3 months of my first cycle or whatever, say we take a couple weeks off the world championships, come back, I just get injured over and over and over again. And then I hit a stride and I'm okay. And then I take way too much time off. So after this hiatus, I would have to do it slowly and deliberately. It would take time, but I'm totally down. Like I think I missed my little 35 to 39 year group. So whoever enters, what's that?
You gave that age group a chance.
I gave that age group. Go ahead. You ladies can have those records there, but I guess I'll be aiming for the 40 to 44 year. But yeah, I'm always down to compete. It was my favorite part about lifting, but Chad's a machine. You said it the best, Service. That voodoo doll did not work.
Not at all.
Because this guy's unstoppable.
Cheryl, I had like jokes when Chad started his master's competition career, and I said, "Oh, cool, because I'm 6 years younger. I'll just see whatever he does." And I couldn't beat him as a senior, so I'll just take all of his records as a master, and he won't be able to go back and do them. And then he set his first records, and I looked at the numbers, and I couldn't do that in my best, let alone as a master.
Right, yeah, Chad making us all look
he's
bad.
The machine. Yeah, he's the machine.
Well, maybe we could have a little documentary. If we have a documentary of the road to wherever the competition is between Cheryl, Jody, and Chad, all making comebacks again, I think that would be something we might need to have the media team take on as a little side project.
It would be amusing to watch me get through a workout.
What's that, Jody?
I started training last Monday, so.
Oh, you did?
Started training again.
I'm already a week behind. You know what I did I had a 15 kilo plate in the living room, and I was programming a lot yesterday, and I was like, let me do some squats with my 15 kilo plate. My legs hurt today.
Yeah.
My legs hurt today. I mean, I was
saw you
doing some
overheading
static holds and stuff.
I saw you overhead squatting at camp, like over at the station over there, kicking ass. I was like, all right, she's training for something. I was like,
I like to stay moving, man. It's those party tricks. I got to make sure those party tricks are in good form, and the rest of it, it's just smoke and mirrors at this point.
All right.
Well, see, that's the way us masters train, though. We start training again, I mean, at least 10, 20 times every year. You start training, you train good for a week or two, and then you get distracted with life or whatever else you got going on. And so it's definitely tough to keep up with. And that's the thing about masters too. I say these things and I joke with Cheryl and with Jody and with whoever on the masters category, but it's certainly not something to be, peer pressured into, so to speak. If this is something that you as a master are going to do, you have to commit, maybe not as much time as you did before, but you got to commit. You've got to feel good about it. It has to be something that you want to do. So if it's something that they want to do, that's awesome. But certainly no pressure from me. Don't ever feel that.
if you guys all do it too, then we're not gonna have any staff Power Monkey camp. You guys are gonna all be on the road competing. So
Right.
let's rotate. Only one coach per year is allowed to join the Masters circuit. All right. Well, we're coming towards the end here. Sorry, Joey. Go ahead.
As I say, those master records are no joke nowadays, too.
No.
Oh, I know, and they're only going to keep going up too, man. It kind of makes me a little nervous thinking about it.
So you have the records in now while you still can.
Oh, that's why I did it in 2019. It's like man, these things are legit. It's not easy.
Well, before we get everyone out, I think we've asked the questions to some of you, but I think it's only appropriate to maybe get a couple of notches under Chad's belt here. So Jody, we'll start with you. What sport or discipline do you prefer, weightlifting or gymnastics?
Oh, come on now. I have a athlete in my gym. She religiously listens to the Power Monkey podcast. Her name is Miss Deb. So shout out to Miss Deb right now. She is furious.
She doesn't like you, Dave. She's
why? I mean, she gets mad. Why so many people choose gymnastics? So I'm gonna have to go with weightlifting. One, it's my sport. Two, if I didn't say weightlifting, Miss Deb would have my ass.
Smart move.
You gotta show your face around that gym.
Cheryl, what do you got for me?
You know what? Because I am so weak right now, I'm gonna have to go with weightlifting because this is real. I've been thinking about this a lot. Maybe I do need to train, damn it. But being stronger than everybody is a cool feeling.
I've never felt
cool
that.
Feeling, make you walk down the street a little bit different. You know what I mean, Dave? You know,
you
might be able to do a nice backflip, but if you're stronger than everybody else you're walking next to, it's a different sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm more of embarrassed than anything. We did a clinic yesterday and I wore shorts, and then I saw a picture of my legs in those shorts, and I was like, I should never take a picture from the waist down ever again. It's like my legs are an embarrassment. So I think yes, strength, but also just being able to fill out a pair of shorts from the legs down would be helpful.
There you go.
Yeah, sport-specific stuff is weird, but I bet they're meatier than they used to be there. You don't need to do those iron crosses or any of that ridiculous stuff.
No, not doing that ever again.
I see you squatting.
Yeah,
You appreciate those legs. Yeah, that's all right.
Lastly, Michael, we asked you this a while ago, and you were very diplomatic, and you said both.
I was. So yeah, I'm the wild card one. I have to say, as I have entered into a quest to get a better handstand inspired by Dave, it has only reaffirmed my need and desire to be squatting regularly. So my appreciation of handstands has deepened my love for weightlifting, and I will stand firm on the weightlifting mountain now that I've had more time to ponder.
Well, there you go.
Thank you, all of you. Chad, we paid all three of them off a considerable amount of money. Make sure you get 3 points in your belt by the time this podcast is over. So those are all for you as a gift.
Well, I appreciate that, and I can refund that money to you whenever you're ready.
Thank you, everyone, for the time.
Congrats.
We love you, Chad. Congrats, man. This is a big deal. We'll make sure to let everybody know. What is it? Third week in June? When is it happening?
It's I don't know the exact date. I believe it's is
the
it
end of
June or
beginning of July.
Oh, okay.
End of June, beginning of July, out in Las Vegas. It's during Weightlifting Nationals. Is that happening the same weekend? Nationals week. So there'll probably be a lot of our listeners probably out there already, either competing or watching. Make a trip to Vegas just to go and hang out, and you get to probably run into Chad at some point and wish him congratulations in person. We love you, man. Congrats again, and can't wait to see it happen all in person in June.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just say real quick, if there is anyone out there, I will take my congratulations through a free beer. So just bring that along with you when you come.
And what is at this moment, because Jordan was asking me this the other day what your favorite beer was, and I was still saying Shinerbach, but at the moment, do you have a new favorite? Is that kind of?
I mean, taste wise is probably Shiner. I love Shiner. I don't know that'll never not be my favorite, but I do a lot of PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon these days as well. So
free beer for Chad's not going to cost you too much either, everyone.
That's
so
right.
Not for PBR. There you go.
Chad's a man of the people.
That's right.
All right, everyone. Chad, you want to close us out here?
Yeah, I can close this out. Well, first of all, I appreciate, you putting this together, Dave, and Cheryl, Jody, and Mike. Thank you so much for coming on and speaking nice about me for once. I know you guys like to give me a lot of shit. And I know it's probably a little bit difficult to do, but I very much appreciate it. And you guys have all been a huge part of my journey, and will continue to be a part of that journey moving forward. And you as well, Dave. Of course, I've learned a lot from you through the years as a coach, but also things that I implement into my weightlifting training at this point in my life. So thank you guys so much for joining us and for being a part of this. Greatly appreciated. And for our listeners out there, as always, we very much appreciate you guys listening in. Hopefully all the talk about me today wasn't too much of a drag or too boring for you, but we appreciate you listening in always. Be sure to head over to powermonkeyfitness.com for services and upcoming events. Also check out our Instagram pages for regular teaching and technical content at Power Monkey Fitness, at Dave Durante, and at Ollie Chad. And on behalf of Power Monkey Fitness, we're your host. I'm Chad Vaughn with Dave Durante. And until next time, guys, thank you all for listening.